This week on Gran Turismo, everybody gets slidey. In Daily Race A, I try and make it 3 wide. In Daily Race B, and in Daily Race C, it's harder than ever. Oh, it's Bathurst. Hello everyone and welcome back to a Gran Turismo weekly race guide here in 2024. Week 31 is the first week of the brand new physics. So these races have been picked with those physics in mind. We'll go through the races of course, but first up here is Lega Maggiore East End Reverse in the Alfa Romeo 8C Competizione. A very lovely car. We're doing 8 laps here at Lega Maggiore. It's a grid start with the full start check. Sports Hard Tyres and Balance of Performance is on with ×1 fuel and tyre wear. DR updates are off, so you don't have to worry as much. However, SR is on, and you can still get DR resets if you do hit too many cars on circuit. Now, some of you, or quite a lot of you, I imagine, aren't going to like this race. It's a very sketchy car indeed. Lots of understeer, lots of oversteer, just lots of steer, really. With that in mind, there are some timestamps there for you if you do want to jump to Daily Race B or Race C. Of course, there will be chapters down below. YouTube's been a bit funny lately, but I do try and put the chapters down there all the time so you can click through to the race that you want to look at. So we're going to look at this race, which we've done twice before this track. This is the third time of use. The first time we've used anything other than Group B cars, which is why it's got 0 in the brackets. Without further ado then, let's jump into this race. Let's have a look at exactly what happens. I'll give you a track guide and show you some of the crux, the details, and little tips that will help you improve here at Lega Maggiore East End Reverse. Here we are then at the start of the race. Diddy starting in pole. We got Fred back as well. Max Power slightly behind me. I'm in P11 as we get ready. I'm laughing because it's the grid start and I realise this car is very sketchy. Traction controller 1. Hold that handbrake, which I've got, dedicated to circle. I release the circle button very quickly. Off we go there. Pretty good start in the grand scheme of it. Let's turn traction control off and let's get ready for turn number 1. This car loves oversteer, loves understeer. I talked about it in the intro. Here we go then. Just caressing the brakes a little bit there. Make sure I'm not going full on all the time here. Down the inside of one car already. So we gain a position there. Actually gained 2 positions. When all said and done, somebody's off there at turn number 1 as we head up to the next corner. Then the left-hander. You can't really see the brake markers here, and I will explain where they are soon, but it's into the left we go. And this race so far looking pretty nice in terms of competitiveness and sportsmanship. Really good going here. Max Power's gone around the outside here. Gonna have to be very careful going into here. The car just lifts up as we go down into this left-hander. You can see everyone's struggling here. Lots of bit of contact happening here, there, and everywhere. As we leave this corner, Sonic is completely sideways. We get on the inside of Cosmo and Fred, and we're up to P6 when all said and done, which is amazing, to be honest with you. I just got lucky there. One little tip, stay on the inside for that hairpin on lap number 1, or, well, the sharp left-hander. It really will benefit you. Now, I was going to go around the outside here, but I kind of realized I had dirt on their tyres, so I went down the inside again, just to avoid them understeering into me. And look at that, it worked wonders here. We're up into P5 then, but they have stayed in that exhaust pipe. Look at that, they are so close behind. Picked a lovely colour for the car though, yellow. That's what I always go with, of course. As we head in towards this left-hander, I was just defending a little bit here, making sure they weren't going to go down the inside. We slow the car down, but they are staying so close to me here. Going to have to defend this then as we go into the sharp left-hander. I want to stay kind of tight here to avoid any complications, which is what I'm trying to do here as we go into the left-hander. And look at this, beautiful racing there with the original Wallen. We're going to continue on out of there, still neck and neck here. Sonic's pulling away, the leaders are pulling away here as well. I'm having to defend really hard as I go through this right-hander, but there we get the run as we continue on here. So lap number 3 then, Sonic up ahead. Kemp's having a fight with Hans and Frank. We look down the inside of Sonic there. I didn't actually mean to scare Sonic into that turn, but Sonic must have seen me coming there, just straighten the steering a little bit there, and we actually get the job done there up into P4. So sorry for the scare there, Sonic. I didn't mean to do that, but even so, I'll take it. I will take those indeed. Sorry if you can hear a helicopter. There's one flying overhead. Anyway, in towards the left we go. Kemp's just gone very wide into this left-hander. I've gone down the inside. Kemp left me space, though, on that inside. It's a beautiful bit of racing here. They're going to have the advantage on the exit, though, because they just got a better exit out of that corner. And you can see here, I'm trying to hold the inside line then as we go into this left-hander. Hard on the brakes, and in we go. And Kemp has just nailed that beautifully. What a defense there from Kemp. Really was well done indeed. What we will do is fast forward a little bit then as we go through the left, and we're going to get back into some racing as we go into the right-hander. Kemp just cuts a lot of that inside, and penalties are on, of course. So Kemp gets a 0.5 second penalty. As we go into here, I was a bit scared of Kemp having dirt on their tyres, and you can really see that there. So I go down the inside here, but Kemp brings it back beautifully Really well done. We're bringing it back there. And as we leave this corner, the penalty line is just up ahead. So we are going to get this position from Kemp. But only just so, I will say that. The penalty is not that impactful in the grand scheme of it. It took us a while to get past Kemp. But there we go. And Kemp is really back on me already then as we go through the right-hander. I nearly pull a Kemp there. But I get too much oversteer. Kemp goes round the outside there. Beautiful move indeed. As they retake P3 and we go into turn number 1. I try down the inside again. Third time of asking, can we get it done? Looks like we've got it done this time. Kemp on the inside. Oh, it's so close. Kemp gets a brilliant run off the corner there as we head up to the next left side by side. This is good racing, really good. I don't expect many races to go like this, if I'm brutally honest with you. I really don't. I think a lot of races are going to end up with crashes absolutely everywhere. Anyway, into the left-hander we go. The corner you really can't see because of where the sun is. And Kemp does take P3 from me. Well played, Kemp. Really well played indeed. We've got 1 lap to go then. Oh, we get it all wrong there. Notice the car lifted up there and it just caused me to go all over the place. Fortunately, Kemp makes a corner. Max Power takes avoiding action and we remain in P4 then. We will advance a lap here then. Kemp's really caught up to Hanson Frank. You'll notice Diddy's come back into the fray there who was leading. Max Power's going drifting behind me here. But as we finish this race then, we are going to come home in P4. We'll have a look at what happened to Diddy in the bloopers, of course. I've given it a 3.5 out of 5. It's got a good start type. Racing is 0.5 because I reckon you can have good stuff here. Penalty, there are no penalty issues here. Race length is good for this track in my opinion. So it gets a 3.5 out of 5. Now in terms of the lap guide here, what you want to do is you want to point down the hill before you start braking. Don't brake and then turn because that won't work. And on the left hand side, you got the Maggiore sign. So I'm using this as a brake marker. You'll notice now the acceleration and braking markers are bigger on the not chase cam, on the bumper cam. So this will help you. So as I go down here, I'm straight line braking it. And as I want to turn, I release the brakes. Every time I want to just get the car turned, lift off the brakes a little bit, and then I go. On exit, just be careful, power oversteer. You may have just seen I was on and off 100% throttle briefly there as we go up to this next left-hander. Now, this is a corner you cannot see in time trial. It's really hard. So, in terms of a brake marker, use the start of the curb here. I'm braking just before it. I did brake on it for quite a while, but I found that actually I was out-braking myself just a little bit here. And it's actually better to brake early here as you go uphill and really get on the inside line. So, that's what I'm going to try and do here. So, here we go then, as we go hard on the brakes. If you're wondering why there's a difference in terms of inputs between chase cam and this bumper cam, this is the live bumper cam actions, not the replay actions, which are delayed. Remember that when you watch this. As we go into this one, though, you want to brake really early for this corner. So I'm going to lightly brake before I go heavy on the brakes. And the reason for that is I don't want the front to lift. The slower I go, the less the front will lift. I want the car, all 4 wheels on the circuit, so I can brake nice and easy for this corner, and the car is in control. So there we go. Hard on the brakes in a straight line. I start releasing it again as I go into the corner. And then we start accelerating very early here to really settle the weight over the rear wheels. Into the left we go, making sure we try and use as much of the curb as possible. And just before we get to the orange barrier on the right hand side, we're just dabbing the brakes a little bit. It's going to force a little bit of oversteer, but you actually kind of want it for this corner, otherwise you'll just understeer off. So I'm forcing a bit of oversteer to accelerate through and get the lap. It's not the best way to start a lap, just putting that out there, but it's the best way to end a lap. So as you can see there, I tried to get it rotated. Job done. That is a 49.7. So that is the lap guide there of Liga Maggiore East End Reverse. We've jumped to Daily Race B then, where we're in Group 3 machinery, and I'm in that Toyota Supra, which is a missile at the moment in the latest update, which is why I've chosen it. In terms of laps, we've only got 4 laps here. Very short race, a rolling start, racing hard tyres, and you can adjust the brake balance only with times 1 fuel and tyre wear. Supra is a rocket ship at this circuit. It's why I chose it. It's rocket ship in 6th gear in general. In terms of trial mounting, we've used it 10 times. 4 of those have been in Group 3. So this is number 11 and the 5th time of asking in Group 3. Not sure why, but they've gone from 5 laps in Group 3 to 4, which is very bizarre to me. Let's jump into this race. Let's have a look exactly what happens as I encounter potentially a dirty driver. Here we are then at the start of the race. We've got Mercedes-AMG GT in pole. I'm very big boss in an R8. I chose a Toyota Supra, as I've already said. And if you are enjoying this video, do give it a like and do subscribe to the channel. Stay in touch with all the latest content. We are on this journey to 100,000 subscribers. 60k is up first. Another special will be planned. And we are getting there very quickly. And I appreciate all the support that you are giving me. It's absolutely insane. Big thank you to everyone. In towards turn 1 we go then. Everyone bunching up here now as we catch up to the Porsche 911 of Handras up ahead as we head into the tunnel. They go towards the inside, potentially looking for me on Shelty. I go around the outside there, absolutely sending it as we go through this corner. We're just going to see them appear on the left-hand side and then disappear as they go off. We've got somebody else off there in terms of a GTR. So we gain 2 positions there through the tunnel. I'll explain why a little bit later on. And we'll have a look at those in the bloopers as well, of course. That's at the end of the video. We fast forward to the back straight then, where we're catching up to Shelty in that RTZ, and this is where the Supra really gains. Look at this. It just keeps picking up speed faster and faster. Down the inside we go. Shelty, it's a TCR, 3 wide here as we go into the left-hander. It gets very close. I nearly go deep. I just managed to save it there as we get the 2 positions. Shelty gets the move on Sonic, and Sonic just gets robbed. Sorry to see that, Sonic. Anyway, we fast forward a little bit more here as we look to catch up to P6 already then. I was looking forward to this race. I really was indeed. That was until the moment that's about to come up. So we go into the chicane here. We go into the right. And notice here there's a little bit of wiggles going on. And I tried to benefit from it, but unfortunately I got too aggressive and had the same thing happen to me. Then I can't turn around. Really frustratingly, I can't get the gear right. So I'm losing tons of time there. So unfortunately, that is technically race over. Or is it? Because I said there was a dirty driver in this race. You see me smiling there. Well, we advance to lap number 3. We catch up to Schlungi here. And this one is where I get really confused. So we're coming into this left-hander. I try around the outside there. Notice they turned right a little bit into there, but I didn't think too much of it here as we get the run out of the corner. As we go up here, they keep turning left into me. I have no idea what's going on here in terms of that. It just seems bad driving. As we go into this right-hander, they purposely then crash into me. Well, that's what it felt like at the time. We are going to have a look at the bloopers. They said sorry after the race because I said I will report that sort of driving. But even so, as we go into this left-hander, I was just very confused by the whole situation. What we will do is fast forward a little bit here, see if we can get closer to Schlungi again. I'm not going to be purposely putting them back or anything like that. Again, I've said I don't want to do that. I don't want to see that personally. But as we head in towards turn 1, here we go then. So they were hard on the brakes, a bit more than I was expecting. But even so, I managed to, well, sort myself out through there. You're very close to them here as we head into the tunnel. So I go down the inside here, sending it. And we do get the job done there as we go on through. Now, I was expecting an absolute send and a half here as we left this tunnel. But they are really far back as we go into this right-hander. You can see there, they completely outbrake themselves. But they managed to make the corner all the same. And we do manage to escape them. In the end, I've given this race a 3 out of 5. Not because of this race specifically in terms of what happened, but the start types, there's the one person who doesn't start in the correct place. Tyre Choice, it's racing hard tyres, so it's a bit rough. Brake balance is down the right hand side there for the track guide. If you did miss that, just fast rewind it 3 seconds. And turn number 1 there on the left hand side is the yellow gazebo. Okay, you just dab the brakes and chuck it in terms of that then. So that's what we're gonna do right here then. So as we come into here, dab the brakes, chuck it in. There we go. And then we want to accelerate as quick as we can. You want to try and use the downforce. Slight lift there before the crest of the hill. Slight lift through the left-hander. It's all about maintaining speed through here, trying to get the downforce used as much as possible. As we come into the tunnel, though, on the right side, you've got the orange barrier going into Armco. That's what I use in the Supra. If you've got a car that can brake later, you will want to use the start of the tunnel, which is what I've highlighted there. But that on the right side, the orange to Armco, really good brake markers. Start to use that initially and then start to build your aggression and progress into the braking zone. I short shift on exit because of wheel spin here. Very easy to spin your wheels as the car gets very light, and that's what happened to those two that went over towards the left-hand side. As we've done right here, though, but we're going straight. The first big rock on the left is your brake marker. You want to brake before that in the Supra. Brake on it in a lot of other cars, but the Supra does carry a lot of speed out of corners, which is why I am braking a little bit earlier. You may want to brake earlier initially. I release the brakes here as I turn in. I clip the inside there and then accelerate out the corner as quick as possible. You will suffer power oversteer there. We go over towards the left-hand side, and just before the end of the curb on the left, I dab the brakes and I'm going to chuck it in. Sometimes in some cars you'll want to go down to second gear here to really get the car to rotate. I can't remember what I do on this particular lap, but you can do both second and third gear in the Supra. But let's find out what we do as we go into this right-hander. We do go to second, and then we go up to third gear on the exit. Over towards the right-hand side. At start of the tunnel here. So you got the sign, you got the white electrical box, you've got the warning sign, or the actual tunnel itself. Loads of markers there. But as you go into the tunnel, dab the brakes and chuck it in. You want to keep the tightest line possible on this corner. It will give you the best line on the exit. It'll give you the fastest line on the exit, and you can accelerate early. Look how tight I'm keeping it here. I can accelerate through the corner then, straight up the steering as quick as possible, and maintain that momentum as we continue on towards the next corner. What we're looking for here is the warning sign of what corner's actually coming up, which is a left-hander. So I'm braking just before it because this Supra is so quick, 174 miles an hour. We're not used to seeing those numbers in Group 3, but we're braking just before the sign here on the right-hand side. And what we want to do is brake a straight line and then turn in. We want to carry the momentum into the corner here. So notice it's a later turn in, and I'm trying to use the bank in. Now that rock there is your accelerating marker. I'm going to accelerate a bit later than that in this car on this particular lap. But arguably, I want to brake just as that hits the edge of my... accelerate just as that hits the edge of my screen, okay? Accelerate as it does that, and you should really get an amazing line. But there, notice the little bit of understeer I suffered. Notice I could still use more of the exit there, so if I'd have accelerated a bit earlier, I'd have had a better lap time. as we go up here, notice I've just started braking well before this marker, okay? I'm just trying to slow the car down, but I'm going to go hard on the brakes at the tree trunk. So you may want to just lift all the way up to the tree trunk when that curve starts, but then go hard on the brakes. And that's what you're going to see right here. I found actually being very patient on the brakes for this corner benefits you on the exit massively. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm going to short shift to third gear, again being careful of power obviously on exit, a little bit of a wiggle there, nothing major. Over towards the right side. Once again, we're using a big rock on the left. As that leaves the screen on the left hand side, we're going to hit the brakes. We really want to slow the car down, but you want a later apex here on this corner. If you take a really tight sort of deepish line very quickly, you're going to suffer power obviously on the exit because you'll overturn the car. So I take a wider line here. I come in for a very late apex. I'm in third gear and I can accelerate out the corner. No issues, no dramas there. Remember, later apex is better for that corner. The final chicane then, on the left hand side, you've got the Texaco sign which goes into a blank concrete barrier there before the blue and orange one. That is your brake marker. I brake just after this. Okay, it's the second to last one as well, I think it is. As you can see, there's another one a bit after, but literally just after that leaves the screen, hit the brakes hard, okay? And you want to take a very tight line for this first part. Keep it nice and tight over towards the left hand side. Gives you a nice line for the right. I lift off a little bit here and accelerate through the corner. I actually clipped the barrier here on the exit, but unfortunately it doesn't give me a penalty. This lap is a 0.2 as well. It would have been a rank 1 lap there, but unfortunately that barrier hit did cost me. We jump to Daily Race C then, where we are in Group 3 again. Yes, we've got Group 3 twice this week. So I chose the Supra again because it's Bathurst, which has a very long back straight, as you are all aware. It's got 2 long straights, actually. We're doing 10 laps here at Bathurst. It's a rolling start, racing medium tyres. You do have to pit once, which is what that star means. Times 2 fuel, times 5 tyre wear, and you can change the brake balance, but BOP is on. Now, for this one, very interesting strategy, but before we get into that, let's have a look how many times we've used this track. Well, down that bottom left, it says 7 times, 5 of them in Group 3. So this seems to be a Group 3 only track with the amount that we've used it. But even so, here we are in Group 3 at Bathurst, and it's a very interesting one indeed. So, with the the mandatory pit, you can change tyres or you don't have to change tyres. We're going to see both in this race, so let's jump into it now and let's have a look exactly what happens. Here we are then at the start of the final race. Mixture of cars again. Fat Bam picking the BMW M6. That's an interesting choice. That did very well in the car profiles back in the day. So we'll have a look how that goes. If you enjoyed this video, as always, do get a like and do subscribe to the channel. Stay in touch with all the latest content. And here we go then. 10 laps of Bathurst, Mount Panorama. Now, this was always a tricky track in MR cars. And we've seen a few MR cars in this race. One up ahead already in Cat Bless. But first up, the speed of this Supra, just watch this. It's just stupid. It really is stupid. Look at the speed difference. Straight towards the inside, and literally as it changes gear, we just carry on going on by. It's like a different class of car. Anyway, we are past here before the right-hander, so we've got the job done already as we head onto the mountain. Now, the mountain, always very difficult to overtake. You can see here we've caught up to this pack up ahead as we head to the top of it now, and we're just backing off a little bit here. We don't want to cause too much pressure. I don't want to lose too much time here because I feel I can do very well at this circuit. As we go down the mountain then, we're slowing the car down nicely, but look in the distance here, we've got a Porsche out wide. Gonna spin there, hits the barrier. Fortunately, goes just in time for me there as we continue on through. So we're getting a position there. Big crash up ahead there. That's a Genesis that's just gone round. The Aston Martin was involved in that one. We'll have a look at that one in the bloopers here as we continue on out. 1.5 second penalty here, but we're up into P8. We're going to be into P7 in no time at all because the penalty line is on this back straight and it is lethal. You do not want a penalty here at Bathurst. Look at the time loss. It's huge, absolutely huge, but we're up into P7 then. In the distance, Danny's going to go for a move on the Porsche, who also had a penalty, who just clips the rear wheel on the left-hand side and goes for a journey to Narnia. Enjoy your stay there. Build some sandcastles. We're up into P6. So a lap later then, we can see in the distance here, Danny and Kemp. Let's actually zoom in a lot more then as we go into this left-hander. We slow it down into there. Oh, Danny's just gone off there. Slight contact between the two. Danny comes back on the circuit, gets a whole lot of wheel spin. I clipped Danny, and my concern there was a penalty. Fortunately for me, I don't get a penalty, so I'm glad that didn't happen, but even so, that was very close indeed. We've catch up to Kemp then on start lap number 3 here. We're going to look down the inside of the TCR driver as we go into the right-hander, looking to slow it down. Very hard to go side by side here. I just have to back out that tiny bit of contact, nothing major, as we continue on then. So we're going to go towards the back straight here, and the Supra is impossible to overtake. It really is impossible to overtake in my opinion. You can see here, I'm in slipstream and I'm struggling to catch 180 mile an hour. 180 miles an hour. We don't see that in Group 3 usually, but here we are. Anyway, we continue on through. I decide at this moment it's time to come in the pits, okay, because I'm going to struggle to get past here and have plenty of time in the bag. So in we go then as we go into the left, right, left, and in. So what we're going to do is, we're changing tyres. Yes, we changed tyres on lap number 3. The reason for that is I did a team versus team event recently, and the tyres were a bit atrocious. We also did the manufacturer series. If you didn't see that live stream, do check it out. And the tyres were a bit awful on there as well. So I decided to change and see what would happen. We catch up to P10 on lap number 5. This is the Porsche that spun out earlier on in the race that we saw on the dip. You can see hazards going there. I'm not sure what that's for. But they go over towards the left-hand side here. So I know they're going to let me go at this moment in time. So we go in the slipstream. We pull out of it. And we're going to go easing on by here. Let's see the top speed we get as we go on through. 170 already. It's mental, that. It really is mental. Anyway, lap number 6. Into turn 1 we go. We see some people coming out the pits. That's Shelty now. We didn't see Shelty beforehand, but we do see Shelty now. I know Shelty's probably changed tyres coming in around this time there. So we're up into P8 here as we continue on. We've got slipstream with Shelty in that Corvette. Again, look at the speed difference. I know Shelty's just come out the pits, but even so, we're down the inside then as we head in towards the right-hander, and we do get it stopped just there, and we're up into P number 7. So this race is all about strategy on when you pit, okay? You need to make sure you're out of traffic, which does mean less racing, but even so, you do want to be out of the traffic as we go down the mountain. Now, Brown Banana up ahead, I know hasn't pit yet as we go into the right-hand. And I've been catching the leaders very quickly here. So the lap times do drop off, and we are going to have a look at that in the bloopers at the very end of the bloopers. In fact, we'll have a look at that as we go down in towards the left-hander then. So we slow it down here. There's only one outcome from this straight. We all know what it is. This Supra is a rocket ship. Let's make it a rocket ship then. So we're in that Brown Banana slipstream here in that AMG GT. But look at this. We start pulling very quickly. We pull out towards the left-hand side, and we do not suffer at all from literally just the air hitting our car. Look at this. Time is on, going on by. Pulls and pulls and pulls. 177, 178, 178 miles an hour. It is incredible. It really is. Anyway, we get the car stopped there. Up into P4. We have been catching the leaders, so we jump to the final lap then as we head towards turn 1. The question is, have we jumped the leaders in the pits? We continue on through here. There is the leader, but we have jumped everybody else here then. So we are into P2, and they are 2 seconds ahead, which drops below a second by the end of the lap. So Fat Band definitely didn't change tyres, but is going to win the race. And I would say changing tyres is probably a better strategy here for most people. We'll have a look at the tyre wear at the end of the bloopers, so do keep an eye out for that, but really well played by Fat Bam. I'm giving this a 5 out of 10. The start type's atrocious with a rolling start. Car Tyre Choice seems good to me. You can have some good strategy. The racing isn't that good though, so 0.5 there. And race length is over 20 minutes, so it's pretty good. So that's 2.5. We timed it by 2 for race C, so that's 5. Now, brake balance down on the right-hand side, as is the first brake marker. So you've got the 100 board or the lamppost on the right. I brake just after that. Or on the left-hand side, what you can do, of course, is use the end of the building. So either of those are really good brake markers, and that's what I'm going to use in towards this first turn. Now, as I go into here, I'm staying in third gear because it's very much more stable in the Supra to be in third gear than to drop to second, and it's got so much pull on it, it just accelerates out of corners. We head towards the next right-hander then. On the left-hand side, you've got the barrier which ends and goes into sort of like a driveway, I think it is. And then you've also got the end of the tarmac. Either of these are really good brake markers for this corner. You do or can brake actually quite aggressively now in the physics on this corner and actually make it round the corner because it just sort of rotates the car. So it's up to you how you do it. I take it nice and cautious here, keeping towards the inside line and then straighten up the car on the exit to avoid that power steer that is so often and so common here. As we go to this left-hander then, a slight lift here, dab of the brakes as well. But I want to go hard on the brakes when I see that straight line on the left-hand side. So the white line's curving and then go straight. I want to be hard on the brakes before I get to that point. I've gone towards the outside of the circuit because I'm going to want to come back in on the corner. The tighter you do this corner, the more oversteer you'll suffer on exit. So I try and take it out wide to come back in, and then I can straighten up. I still suffer a little bit there, but nothing major. That is controllable as we continue on up here. Now we've got two trees here. You've got the one on the left and the one on the right. I use the one on the right here. So I turn in as that tree leaves the edge of my screen. Some cars, you can do this flat. Some cars, you will have to lift a little bit. So you lift as that tree gets to the end of your screen if you do have to lift as we continue on through here. You do want to clip the curb a little bit if you can because it will pull you around. Notice there, I'm just dabbing the throttle a little bit because I got a bit scared, but pretty sure I would have made that all the same. As we come down here, I lift at the crest at the bottom of the hill there. And as we go through the left-hander, what we're looking for next is this curb here. Okay, so this, you have to be lifting before you get to this. If you're not lifting, you're accelerating as you get to this point, the front will lift and you'll just understeer it off. Lift, let the car settle on 50-50 weight distribution, whatever your car is. But it really settles the weight, and you can turn into the corner. Then you can accelerate through there. Just avoid hitting the barrier on the left-hand side as we start to go down the hill. This is harder than it has ever been now in this car in particular. I've not tried MR cars yet, but it's very hard in this Toyota Supra. So on the right side, you've got the edge of the building, which you want to use. The middle bottom square, that's where you're aiming for. So you aim for that, okay? What you want to do, you want to go hard on the brakes in a straight line, lift, hard on the brakes, straight line, lift, hard on the brakes. Okay, every time you're literally hard on the brakes in a straight line only. If you brake and turn at any moment in there, you're going to spin off. As we get to the dipper, we've got a curb on the right hand side, and literally the end of the curb, you dab the brakes and you chuck it in. I stay in third gear now for this one. I find it better. I did do second gear quite a lot originally. I'm pretty sure I stay in third. There we go. It's just more stable to do that in the Supra, so just keep that in mind. We accelerate through, and on the right side, we've got the black barrier that goes into the white barrier. That is your brake marker for the forest elbow here. So you hit the brakes and then release them because you want to turn. Remember, tyres can only do 100% of something. That's the motto I always say, 100% of something. So hit the brakes, release, turn, hard on the brakes then as we go into the here. So straight line braking, we release it, we get the car turned, accelerate as quick as you can on the exit, be careful power oversteer, and then just relax as you go down the straight and just watch the speed build and build and build. So as we go through here, what we're looking for on the right side, you got the 150 board and you got the V in sign event, or sign event, as I used to say. So literally with this one, I would start at the 150 board if you struggle, and then start to push towards the V as it hits the edge of your screen. It's a very hard one to actually get right here, but I'm going to hit the brakes in a straight line. I stay in third gear, it keeps the car stable, clip the curb, accelerate, and on exit, if you clip the grass, you're going to go spinning, so just be careful of that. We continue on towards the final corner then, where we're looking for a tree on the right side. And there it is, the last big tree. I've highlighted it for you right there. So this is your final brake marker. As that leaves your screen, you're going to hit the brakes hard. Now, second gear for this corner is what I would advise. You get a much better exit, but you are going to suffer a bit of power oversteer in the Toyota Supra. So some of you will want to do third just to keep it nice and stable, but second gear is better as I go through the corner. Notice that I'm just juggling the throttle there as we continue on. That's 2 minute 1.0. Do expect 159s here from some people. I need to give it another go as well. So here are the bloopers then, what everyone's actually here for. So as we come into here, so a little bit of crash behind. We've got Fred going a bit deep there. We've got Sonic in the middle there. Cosmo just taps Sonic there. It's not intentional there. It's just literally racing that's happening here. As we go into here, they've gone 3 wide there. And that was Jammy just tapping Fred, I think. We'll go on board Jammy. Max Power goes around the outside there. Tries it. A bit of oversteer as well. So we're actually 4 wide there in the distance, aren't we? So Fred's off the circuit there with dirt on their tyres as well as we go into this left-hander. Oh, little tag there. Not sure whether there was any netcode issues there or whatever, but... yeah, tough one there. I think maybe Jammy should have waited up a little bit here. We're going to continue on with Jammy though as we go into this left-hander, and Jammy is just going to oversteer off there. I think Jammy may have not even been able to brake at that time because of cars behind, so Jammy may have been waiting up as we continue on. So that's Jammy. We go on board Diddy then. This is the leader. The leader bottled it, and this is what the bottle was. Coming into here, just oversteered a little bit, forced them onto the grass as they go into the barrier. So they didn't release the brake there. They wanted the barrier to stop them, which is very brave in case of a penalty. But even so, it did work for Diddy there. It stopped them quicker, and it managed to get them going again. Here is the Porsche of Handress. This is where we're going to see that car get very light, get a load of oversteer. Oh, sorry, wheel spin, which forces the oversteer. So the Porsche is gone. GTR is going to suffer the same thing here then. So this is what happened to the GTR starting P4. So this is unfortunate. Just gets a little bit light. The wheels start to spin up and you get fired off towards the left-hand side. Very common accident to happen here at Trial Mountain. What we're going to do next is jump on board me because you all want to see me spin again. I know you do. I can tell behind that screen of yours. Right, anyway, into the right we go. Let's see, I'm on throttle and I tried to boot it. It failed and I just grind along the barrier. And then I don't get a load of wheel spin enough to spin me around, so I struggle then to get into gear. We go into Schlungi then. So this is Schlungi who, well, I assumed was playing dirty, but let's actually see what happens here. Keeps turning left while I'm there and still trying to turn left. So as we go into here, what happens with that brake? Hits the brakes, releases the brakes, purposely waits to hit me, and then goes on the brakes. So yeah, that's dirty driving. I don't care that you said sorry. I said no to it after because that's what I assumed happened, and I was correct with my assumption. So I will be reporting that. Oh, clips the barrier on the inside here, does Bahamas. Slight tap from Pierre Gasly. Oh, hits the barrier. Pierre Gasly hits him again and goes round. And Bahamas, unfortunately, is actually going to quit the race there because, yeah, that's a bit of a bad accident. We're on board Speedy then in the Aston Martin, side by side with Shelty here. So this is a good bit of racing. And, oh, that's really good, actually, surviving that one. So a slight tap with Shelty there on the corner. It does compromise them on exit. We've got a Genesis going through on the inside. And the Genesis just going to force him into the wall. What is that about by the French driver? I'm not too sure. And oh, that penalty is not justified in the slightest for the Aston Martin there. See them in the distance. We jumped on board the Porsche, though, who has a livery in this one, but not in the race, of course, because Gran Turismo things. Anyway, in towards the right we go. They get a whole load of oversteer. And yeah, it's just the braking there. It just forced the oversteer. We go on board the Genesis then. Now, we did see the Genesis and the Aston come together down here. Let's see exactly what happened then. Continue on through here then. The Aston's got a run then as we go into the right. And, oh, I'm pretty sure that was a bit of a revenge punt there from the Aston from earlier on, if I'm brutally honest with you. I don't like to see it. I am going to call it out. I don't like to see revenge punting in the slightest. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what happened there. But here's the Porsche. Oh, it's the tiniest of clips on the left rear there. Just sent them on a very big journey there to Etman in the Porsche. Hope you enjoyed Narnia. Now, on board Kemp, who in the race didn't have a livery. Has a livery now, but hey, Gran Turismo things again. We're going to head in towards Chase, and here we go. So they're side by side as we go into this left-hander. Good bit of racing here. Everyone's giving each other room on exit. Oh, it's the smallest of contacts, I think, there. And then Danny comes on and then spears off. Let's have a look at it from Danny's perspective. Kemp didn't wait up there. I do expect Kemp should have waited up there. But let's have a look at this in towards the left-hander. And, oh, that's interesting. There's actually a gap between the two cars. Looks a bit netcodey as well at the same time. I still do expect Kemp there to wait up because it's, yeah. It's also one of those where, you know, if you're from a different region, that's what happens. So there's Fat Band's tyres, very low. There's my tyres, a bit better, but I pitted on lap 3, of course. So I do think pitting and changing your tyres is the way to go rather than just pitting. It definitely seems a better strategy there. Look at Matt's power in the Huracan as well, P4. So maybe the MR cars aren't as bad now on this circuit. That's going to be it for me, though, folks. Do keep an eye out for another video on the physics. That's coming very soon. I'm going to look at a detailed, in-depth view of that. But that is it for me. 2 videos there to check out. My logo's there if you want to subscribe. And 2 companies to check out there as well in terms of GT Amiga and Fanatec. Use the links below in the description and also use code Tidgney at checkout on GT Amiga for a discount, and a kickback comes back to me as well. Thank you so much for the support as always, and I hope to see you in another video or live stream again very soon.